Hey guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and the funniest thing just happened. Basically, as you can see, my rating is currently 1613, so I gained another 50 points from the last speedrun. And at the end of the video, I realized that the entire speedrun that I filmed was actually muted. And it's even funnier because going into this speedrun, I was basically telling you guys how I felt really sleep deprived today because actually I've been coaching chess since 7 in the morning today, and I didn't get much sleep. And I was making a point how, even when you are super tired, you can even play C3 Venom. And this is why I really like the repertoire, because I mean, when you play like a long tournament, you're going to have ups and downs in terms of your mood, in terms of your energy levels, in terms of your ability to focus. But actually, even though the chess went well and I won all my games, I forgot to click the unmute button, and here we are filming part 2. So yeah, you have to bear with the fact that I already reached 1600, and we're just gonna have to play a few more games. Hopefully we get the white pieces some more. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad we could start with the white pieces, and this time I am definitely unmuted, and okay, we get a Caro-Kann reversed. So now I'm like double tired, so we're going to see even more potential sloppy play. But my point is that no matter how tired you are, you're going to still be able to play a decent 1c3 Venom game. And as you can see, my opponent has started to stall. This is a really good sign. This means that they've kind of played e5 on principle, not really thinking about, what is actually going on here. So we will use the extra time, especially in the blitz game. But man, the games from the last few games that I played are really nice examples. So yeah, tragedy that I should have forgotten to unmute myself, but okay. It's a learning process. Wow, my guy is really stalling. And after all that thinking, he's gone into this exchange variation, which is, what most players play, especially when they don't know what to do. And they'll be very surprised to realize, if they have even realized, that they have entered into a Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation. And some people like to suggest that this is like a slightly better version of the Queen's Gambit declined exchange, where Black hasn't played knight f6 and we haven't been able to pin the knight. But from a Caro-Kann perspective, I like this move better anyway. We basically are going to blunt this scary bishop. And this move I don't really worry about either. Like, we're basically going to play bishop d3. And even though this is technically like a good bishop, the fact is this bishop can be very annoying, either controlling the square, or even on c8, it has some potential to sacrifice here when we castle our king. So just trading the pieces in general in the setup, engine will always scream equal. But from a practical perspective, I'm already feeling very good. Now this is a very interesting move, basically trying to play on this pawn already. And if you remember in the minority attack, we are basically trying to mobilize these pawns. So my feeling, my intuition is to just play rook b1. Because we no longer have to worry about any light squared bishop, so our pieces are safe on the light squares. And we're simply going to try and play for this plan. Now, of course, we need to be careful of any tactics like this, but okay, the knight is protecting. Also, the queen is protecting the rook as well, right? So this looks completely fine. So actually, whenever a bishop comes to b4, I'm feeling very confident that I can just kick it away with a3. And I don't think there's any like tactics here that are working. And we can even push b4 already. So I think, very tempting already to play this. I think we're going to play it anyway. And this is generally my rule in this minority attack style position. When we can play b4, it's normally a good idea. And b5 is the move we kind of want to slow down and wait on. So let's complete our development first. Let's develop a knight to its best square. We're going to put our king nice and castled. And then we'll see. So at this moment, maybe there's some argument that I should have played h3 to avoid this. I can also play bishop g5 if I care a lot about losing this bishop. But to be honest, I don't mind. I don't mind losing it, really. Like, I think I'm very happy to play the knights and basically just play for this minority attack. I think it's going to be completely fine. Like, the more pieces that trade, the more comfortable we're going to be. And a very useful theme to keep in mind of this minority attack is this knight a4 to knight c5. On c5, the knight stands very nicely. Because if the knight is ever captured, we can take back with the pawn and we have infinite pressure on this b7 pawn for the rest of the game. And in this position, we also keep tabs on this e4 square. And sometimes if the opponent can sink a knight into e4, can get a little bit annoying. But here, you know, we've got extra control over the square. And we're simply going to try and push for b5 and get a good position. And it's very, very difficult to kick away this knight, because if black ever pushes b6, then this c-pawn is weak, right? We're going to put a rook on c1, and there's going to be pressure on the c-file. So, okay, the guy lashes out with a5. This kind of makes sense. If he takes, he does get an open file for his rook. So part of me doesn't want to allow it. A part of me wants to just push. But you really only want to push when you're like really, really fully ready to push. And if I push, let's say they played b6 here as an in-between move, am I able to get out of this in a way that's favorable for me? Maybe I can play like knight a4. This looks all right, actually. If they take, we can take with the rook, and we just have great pressure against b6. This looks quite nice. So b5 looks like it's decent. I guess they can take there then and get this set up, and I wonder how we're doing here. To be honest, that also looks really nice to me. I feel like this pawn is going to be secure enough. It's limiting this pawn. I feel like b5 is very strong. Alternatively, we can take with the intention to take. So if we take, that pretty much forces them to capture. And maybe that's actually looking good for black. Alternatively, I can just improve the rook first, and then if they take, just, you know, take the L that they get this A file, but I'm just going to still break with b5 anyway. That also looks really strong. So yeah, tough position to decide what to do. You know what? I think I'm going to go for this option, because in general, you're really rarely going to get punished for making a developing move like this. Like maybe b5 in that instance was like slightly stronger, but for sure I know that this isn't going to be like losing me the game or something like this. I don't think like black's got anything here that's going to cause me some serious problems. So no harm in, you know, developing when in doubt. Okay, so he tries to get active like this. To be fair, he does have some pressure potentially on this pawn. So I do need to be a bit careful. Now, rook c2 is possible, but he's going to double up. He's going to keep his rook here. So this is the kind of moment where I might feel like I want to get some counterplay. Like my pieces do feel like they're doing really well. I could also play knight e5, so basically just cover these entry points for this knight. Like stop this knight from coming in. This also feels rather tempting. Yeah, it's a tough one. A really tough one to decide what's the best way to continue here. Do I want to engage in this battle immediately or not? You know what? Let's play with rook c2 first. I think limiting this rook a little bit is important. Yeah, and I was thinking of basically doubling like this. Basically shutting out this rook from its pressure on f2. Which is actually why this capture is not normally ideal. Like normally I'd like the pawn to be on h3 just to prevent this knight from coming in. So yeah, this was a bit careless of me earlier in the game for not pushing this pawn. But okay, let's put the queen on b3. Let's put some pressure on this rook. And now we're threatening to even win it. Maybe I should have been a bit careful about these ideas, but I didn't see it working. Okay, let's play with queen b2. I think this should be okay. If he plays rook a2, I think I'm happy to trade here. Because the general principle in this decision making of can you trade queen for two rooks? You want to decide... Okay, let's go for this. You want to decide how weak your pawns are and how weak your king is. And here I don't see them as being that weak. Therefore, I want to go for it. Now, okay, in this position, I realize I'm being a bit careless allowing this move. So let's head back. I still think my position is looking good. I've got this advantage on the queen side. I should be able to get some long-term advantage here. And I feel like my king is safe enough. It's not ideal. Probably I should have played this h3 earlier. But really the biggest problem actually is going to be my clock. I've got 37 seconds. The position is still rather complicated. So maybe my time management has been a little bit poor. But okay. I still feel fairly confident about this position. We can also avoid the queen trade now. I think we can basically play with queen b4 if needed. And basically escape the rooks if we want to keep things really simple and not allow any imbalances. Here though, I'm just going to go grab this pawn. I think I can already grab it. I don't think it's too greedy of me. He can play rook a2 though. How do I feel about that? We need to make a decision. I'm going to grab the pawn. Maybe this pawn could have been taken at any point. Maybe I didn't have to go for this. But I kind of saw this move. And I thought this was interesting. And if he moves his king, I can take the rook, right? So this gives me a whole other check. And now we're going to enter some complications. So my knight is covering the squares of the queen. We're going to be basically going after their king. They're going to be going after mine. I have an extra pawn though. So if everything kind of like settles down, I do have that extra pawn advantage. And okay, we both have 3 pieces attacking. I think it's going to be a very close call. I'm also the one who starts the attack, right? So I have this extra move. I have an extra pawn. This feels like good chances for me. Maybe I should have put knight h4 in hindsight, but okay, we're quite low on time. What to do? And okay, here we can even trade queens. And this is what I mean about the position kind of slowing down. Yeah, I'm a pawn up here. And I've even got new targets. So this looks very promising. Let's give a check because we're low on time. And are we getting mated? I don't think we are. So we can even take this pawn. I'm going to move my king just to be safe. Okay, we even win this. Okay, and maybe actually allowing rook takes g2 at the end was not a good idea. I mean, I just saw that my time was low. I didn't actually know if I had 8 seconds, 0.8 seconds. So I thought, let's just play as quickly as we can. But yeah, as you can see, this is actually quite typical of how a game might go. Like when we play this kind of Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation, I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to avoid being attacked at all costs. But what you will get is you will get some queenside initiative. You may even get a queenside advantage if you play it well. And yeah, this is kind of how the game might go. So I am extremely tired, but still, the game felt like it was kind of under control. I think the one annoying aspect was you saw that, you know, for some of this game later, you know, this knight sunk in here, put some pressure on f2. In general, I feel like whenever I have the pawn on h3 and I prevent this knight g4, then I can just worry about preventing the knight from coming into e4, and then it's a lot easier to handle these kind of initiatives. But okay, this game went well. Let's see if we can get one more 5-minute game. Yes, we get another 5-minute game. Let's go. Sorry, when I say another 5-minute game, I mean with the white pieces. Because with the black pieces, then I basically just have to play a game and I can't really use it as content. So, okay, we get the main line. He plays with e6. And this is actually funny because in last position, we see, you know, this Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation. But this is actually the typical Queen's Gambit declined style of play. Like this is how a Queen's Gambit declined player would typically develop their pieces. So it's funny that these kind of players are getting like a mainline London, and that players who actually don't know the Queen's Gambit declined end up getting a Queen's Gambit declined. So this is like one of the aspects of C3 Venom. And yeah, whenever the bishop comes here, I like to just drop back. If they want to take, I can take back with the h pawn. And this is a little different with the open h file. So we're just going to develop our pieces. Just get them all out. And okay, you know, he can take us. It's not a big deal. We're going to get this open h file. And they just have to be a little bit careful now. Now this is a smart move because otherwise I would sink my knight into e5. Now I end up losing a pawn if I do that. So here the question is, do I want to castle or not? Because castling basically loses this advantage for me. I'm just going to play queen c2. Basically his bishop is not outside of the chain. I even just threatened checkmate in one and the guy misses it. So this is why you open the h file and you always play for one move threats. I mean, okay, the thing is as well, when you play for one move threats like this, you shouldn't really do it if the move isn't a useful move. I kind of felt the position that the queen on c2 was actually quite useful. Like, yeah, it kind of is, yeah, just on a useful square. Maybe I can prepare with bishop d3. If I castle kingside, now my rooks are linked. If I castle queenside, maybe I can try and play for an attack. So it feels like a useful move to play. Like it's not like a target. There's no way for the queen to be attacked. So may as well threaten a cheeky checkmate. Okay, let's play one more. Probably I'm gonna get the black pieces now. Yes. Okay, so after getting 4 blacks in a row, we finally have our final C3 Venom game. We get another Caracal reversed. And yeah, this one I am literally lights out after this. I'm going to take a fat nap. But yeah, we get another exchange variation. And let's see how this one is going to go. So again, we are looking to put the bishop on f4. And yeah, just try and develop all of our pieces. And wow, an early f5. Now this looks really, really wrong. Putting all the pawns on light squares like this when it's so open. Because now my bishop's just going to be much, much stronger. Now, maybe the idea is to try and play with g5 here. I'd be quite surprised if my opponent can get away with it. But normally the way to exploit this is actually to put a pawn... I kind of want to put a pawn on h4, secure this square for my bishop, and then just develop around it. I think that looks really reasonable. I'm wondering if this is also maybe like somewhat premature and I shouldn't be playing in this way. Let's actually prioritize developing first. If he really wants to go g5, I mean, probably I've got queen h5. And even if I didn't, I could just drop back bishop g2. I'm not getting trapped anymore. So this feels really good. So maybe there's no need to like, react to this f5 so dramatically. And maybe I can just complete my development first and then see. So... okay, black has played with f5. That also means that this e5 square is even more tender, right? They can never ever kick out a piece that lands on this square. So planting a knight on e5 definitely looks good. The only thing is that maybe he's got some like congestion issues, right? And if I basically allow him to trade here, maybe this is in their favor, right? So let's play h3 instead of h4. My plan is that I'm going to plump the bishop on h2 if it's attacked. And also, I have some ideas of his g4, right? So I'm going to put my bishop on this diagonal. Maybe I can play with g4. And okay, he sinks his knight in. Now, I have a rule in this kind of stonewall setup that this is not an issue if I can take and put a knight on e5. If I can put a knight on e5, normally I should have zero problems. And my position should be fine. My only feeling is that maybe I can do better. That's my thought. Like, maybe I can actually do better in this position. So I think I'm gonna sink a knight into e5 immediately, and maybe I can then have the option of taking with the knight. So let's get this position, and my logic here is that I don't mind if they take here. Like, I'm going to castle kingside. I'm going to claim that my king is safe because I've traded off their knights. My bishop basically controls this weak diagonal. And the point is, if my king is safe on the kingside in this position, that means I'm going to have an advantage to play on the queenside, right? I've still got my minority attack that is going to come in and dismantle my opponent's queenside. So this whole game plan, this Carlsbad structure, it's always this like kind of balance between, making sure that our opponent doesn't have an attack on our king, and then eventually getting our queenside play in. That's really what it comes down to. It kind of simplifies the game into this kind of two kind of mindset kind of game. And when you're as sleep deprived as I am, and feeling like you're ready to blunder all your pieces, making the game as simple as possible is what you want. And you see, I didn't even see this check, right? I didn't even see this check. Luckily, we've got this move of our king. And this isn't a big deal. Like, maybe it's a slight annoyance, right? The rook is a little bit awkward to get out. But I still think this is fine. I don't see that my king is in big trouble or something like this. And we're still going to be able to gain some time on this bishop, right? With a3, b4. So, yeah, we lost some time with this king. But I don't think it's going to be a long-term issue. Let's put the bishop on g3, not h2, because I want to just make sure I've got a bit more protection over f2, given that my king is on f1. But yeah, we're going to play a3, gain a tempo on this bishop. Now, I've just got to be careful that I'm not getting mated, right? Like, bishop takes him and some kind of checkmate here, right? This is actually a little bit scary. Maybe one option is I can move a knight to g4. This is one option. I can't play queen e1 because I'm going to lose this piece. A part of me is very tempted just to play king g1, and if he takes, like, just allow this and say, like, you don't have anything, but they at least have a pawn, right? So that's not ideal. Okay, another one I can just take the knight. And then I get to keep my bishop on g3. I don't know why this took me so long to see. This is definitely the move I want to play. So I want to keep this bishop protecting. I'm gonna move my king, I guess. And actually, you know what? I'm not actually the biggest hater of this rook on h1, because actually, you know, if my opponent ever tries to, like, attack me, I'm actually basically have some extra control over this h file. And I reckon I can still make some decent progress on the queen side. And later, if I really need, I can swing my rook over. But for the time being, I can already make some progress. I'm basically limiting my opponent's play by having this rook on the king side. So this feels alright. This feels alright. So let's play a3. Now he can play bishop d6, which is quite interesting. I assumed I would be able to take it and he'd need to take back. If he tries to go all in with his check, I reckon I can just run. I don't think he's got enough there. So let's play b4. Always try and play b4 when you can. That's my general rule. b5 we need to be a bit more careful about and wait and see. Okay, so he's adding a lot of pressure. A part of me really wants to play bishop g4 just to trade some more pieces, reduce my opponent's attacking potential, but at the end of the day, this bishop is a good bishop compared to this bishop. So maybe we can kind of, mess around with our opponent's kind of coordination a bit first. I was going to play bishop g4, but I'm realizing now actually bishop e5 might be possible, although it's not quite ready yet. I've still got some problems here. So actually one of Karpov's favorite moves was to play this move rook a2 and defend laterally this way. This means that our weakest point f2 is safely protected, and now we are threatening some ideas of this bishop e5. So again, in this minority attack, I'm not saying that it's going to be a completely simple game or easy game, I should say. It's not going to be an easy game where we just push the queenside pawns, we make a weakness, we win the game. Of course, black is going to try and throw everything at your king, because structurally, strategically, they're lost on the queenside. Okay, maybe with best play they can hold, but it's very difficult, practically very difficult. So what the idea is that they try and do is they try and get some counterplay. They try and get some attack on my king as a means to get something back. But in theory, they should be suffering on the queen side. Now at this moment, I'm wondering if I should take the chance to try and improve my king's safety situation. And you know what I am? I'm gonna play this move g3. I'm gonna play king g2, and I'm gonna try and move my rook. And the reason why I think I can get away with this, let's be careful. If h5, then maybe I have to play like this. But no, I can take the pawn. I should be fine. I should be able to take this, and bishop takes should be all right. So my reasoning for going into this stuff is because there are no knights on the board. If there were still knights on the board, making these weaknesses and having these holes, it can get very, very problematic. But whenever there are no knights on the board, you can actually get away with having weaker squares, and it won't get punished. Now, in this position, I want to start pushing my pawns like this, but I can't because there might be potential sacrifices, right? They take and I take back, and then they come in crashing, right? That's even checkmate. So I need to basically take this very slow. I need to go step by step, make sure everything is supported, and only once everything is supported, then I can play on the queen side. So you gotta take your time with this kind of game. There's no room for rushing. The only thing I need to be a bit concerned about is maybe my bishop getting trapped. Like, I'm just keeping an eye out. Like, if he ever has this chance to play h5, I don't think he does. Maybe I can even play bishop h5 myself. Maybe this is an option. Interesting. So now maybe I can't play a4 because of takes. Let's throw in a little repetition. We'll see if he repeats. Always a useful move to try and save some time. And now we can go ahead with our own plan. Okay, so let's start pushing. Okay, so actually in that position, that was my mistake. I actually didn't have enough attackers on this defenders on this pawn. I thought I did, but okay. Also, as soon as we get into a time scramble, the kind of like objective importance of the moves becomes a bit redundant, and is more about just making sure that we don't make a blunder. So yeah, okay, maybe this wasn't the cleanest game. Maybe this is actually a game I should look into. We can see here actually I made two mistakes. Maybe this was at the end, maybe this was earlier. But actually this f5 move, very, very rarely seen. But maybe it has some logic, like it kind of strongholds this e4 square. But still, I felt like I was okay. Like I didn't think like maybe my position was amazing. Aha, and it doesn't like this transformation at all. That's very interesting. I felt like I was okay here. I didn't think it was like that big a deal. I felt like my king was safe enough. But maybe, yeah, with this king f1, maybe objectively speaking, it's a little bit awkward and I could experience some pressure here. So what am I supposed to do about this? I'm just supposed to ignore this knight completely? Okay, let's say I castle, let's say I play knight d7. How am I supposed to play here? Okay, I can play queen c2. Let's say they just keep improving their knights. What do? I put a knight on e5. Okay, let's say they just develop. Where is my play? Maybe we can still try and play for minority attack on this side of the board. And maybe just play this knight. So it looks like at any point when I take, it's kind of preferring black. That's very interesting. Anytime I take with a knight, it's also preferring black. So whenever this f-file is opening, it seems like black is doing okay. So does that mean I have to play against this annoying knight for the rest of the game? If so, it's a little bit annoying, right? Maybe the point is that I can still play for my plan of the minority attack. Maybe like this whole congested situation is just nothing to fear. There's no attack on the king side, and I can just get on with my queenside play. But I do wonder, like if I'm a bit slow with this, can he start playing like g5 kind of stuff? Is this ever a concern? Apparently we're just completely chilling here. To me, practically speaking, this feels a little bit scary, of these pawns coming down. So maybe I'm gonna have to look into this. But in general, the still the kind of mentality of how I played this. I don't think this was so wrong. I mean, okay, maybe Engine has some very precise way to kind of crash through here. Like I am a bit awkward, but in general, the principle is still the same. Like if I can hold the defense, if I'm fine, I do have a strategical advantage on the queen side, and eventually I will be able to break through. And also, yeah, this is like whoever is the better player will or understands the positions better should do well. So I'm not too worried about this. I probably will go away and have a look at this in my own time, especially when I'm not so tired. I don't want to draw the wrong conclusions from these positions as well. They're very nuanced. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching these games. We actually almost made it to 1650. Luckily, we didn't, so we can keep track of this speedrun. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess see you in the next speedrun. Okay, adios.